If you guys are ever curious as to what I'm drinking, is green tea. Usually, I think in the beginning of the series, I drank a lot of coffee, but my coffee pods ran out. So I don't, I haven't bought any new coffee pods yet. So I'm just drinking green tea. I am actually going to be honest with you. I have no idea what cold brew means. I have no idea what it means at all. So I could not understand what cold brew coffee was until one day on TikTok, I saw someone making cold brew coffee. What they did was they had this milk and they had, I think, jasmine tea bag. And overnight, what they do is they put jasmine tea bag in their milk and then they call it cold brew tea. And I was like, oh, so that's what cold brew is. And since then, I've been doing cold brew green tea almost every time. And my husband loves it. It's like we have our own unlimited bottomless green tea. If you've ever been to any of the sushi places, like in Malaysia, it's like Sushi King, Nippon Sushi, they always have the limitless green tea, and that's how it tastes like. So if you ever want to try, you should do it. Anyway, this week is week 13. Oh my god. It's about to be week 14 and I'm gonna turn 30 soon. Okay. Previously in week 12, I talked about putting your attention on the next step and taking action on that next step. But I'm gonna be completely honest. I think it's hard. Like each time when you start a new goal, it's easy for you to kind of keep consistent for a couple of weeks. And then after that, it gets harder, right? Like it gets harder for you to keep consistent and keep on just taking these actions. And a lot of people say it's like just trust the process, just keep on going. Consistency is how these goals actually provides an outcome. But I know it's actually really hard. And it's not because we're weak or we're impatient or we're doing something wrong. It's just really hard because our brain is not built to love slow, invisible progress. And I think I've said in one of my previous videos before as well, for our brains, it's hard to see us making progress even when we keep being consistent because we don't see it. It's like when you have a partner, you see them every single day. And when they lose weight slowly, you don't notice it. But then when you show them the before and after pictures, you can see the stark difference. Like if you see them every day, you don't notice it. But let's say you see them once a month and then you'll notice, oh, she's getting slimmer, her body has changed to become leaner or whatever. And I'm still trying to do this as well. Like it's hard to keep consistent with recording and seeing that there's not a lot of views, but at the same time it's actually comforting because it means I have no pressure at all. Like there's no pressure to make the video great or whatsoever. I can just make whatever I want. But it's still, in a way, how I see my progress is that previously I only had 1 or 2 videos on my YouTube, and now there's, I guess, 13 after I post this one. But in the beginning, it's hard to see there's actual progress, and it's not really a feeling. I actually did some research and looked up some studies on this because I just want to understand why. I don't want to give you guys like just general statements, and without any proof. So there's actually scientific evidence behind this. I'm reading from my screen here. Research in psychology and neuroscience shows that humans struggle when rewards are delayed. And I think especially in this digital age, right, where everything is kind of instant, you can order anything and you can get it straight away, within 24 hours. So when the effort and the results are far apart, the brain has a harder time kind of connecting the two. There's like studies published in the journal Nature's NPJ Science of Learning show that when feedback of rewards are delayed, our motivations kind of drop. And not because we don't care, but because our brain are literally struggling to link what I'm doing right now with what I get later. And I think it's like, back in the day when you hunt and gather, when you hunt, you straight away like, oh, I get food. And when you forage, you straight away get berries or whatever, you straight away know that it's food for you to keep on sustaining your life. And back then, I think it's simpler times. You don't really have to think about, buying a house and all that stuff. Anyways, it means that it's hard for your brain to kind of link what you're doing now to the results or the rewards later, because especially when it comes way, way later in the future. So when you're putting in effort and nothing seems to happen and there's no significant result or outcome, your brain starts to ask, like, is this even working? Why am I doing this? Like, should I stop because I'm not seeing any results from the action that I'm doing? It doesn't mean that you're a failure for quitting. It's just your biology, you're human, your brain's not used to it yet. There's also something called delayed discounting. It means that humans tend to value immediate rewards more than future ones, especially when we're anxious or uncertain. There's also this concept called delayed gratification, which I'm pretty sure everyone has heard of. There are studies on delayed gratification that shows that people are actually better at waiting when they believe that the future reward, not like a maybe it will come, hopefully it'll come, but actually believe that the reward will come to you. And to me, what that sounds like is that you kind of have to be a little delulu. You kind of have to be a bit irrational or crazy that you believe that it's going to work. You know, like even though you don't see it yet and you feel like it's, what the hell am I doing? You have to have that slight delulu, healthy amount of delulu, believing that it is going to work. Something will come for this. And that's how you actually get better at trusting the process and staying the course and continue being consistent. That's how, after you've decided where your attention is going to go, you've decided that your attention is going to be on the next step, and you have to continue taking each step and being consistent. You have to believe that it will work out in the end, and that's how you stay and be consistent. If you don't trust the future or yourself, waiting feels a bit pointless and you don't really trust the process. The effort feels stupid. The consistency feels embarrassing. So, trusting the process isn't about blind optimism, but it's about having a big belief long enough and being delulu and crazy about it for long enough so that reality, the outcome, the results catch up to the process that you've been doing. It's about trusting the idea that the effort that you've put in matters before it can actually look impressive. And this also applies to a lot of artists and celebrities as well, right? Recently, there was the Grammys, and there's this one guy who, if you could see him when he was accepting his Grammy award, he ran all the way from the back to the stage, and he talks about how he finally won, and it actually took him 20 years. He has been in the music industry for 20 years, and only now that he has been given a Grammy award. And it's also the same with Chaperone, which is a big artist now, and Serena Carpenter, and all of these other entrepreneurs as well, those who have opened a shop. I think in Malaysia, there's a few brands or shops or businesses that you might think only got their hype now, but actually they have been building for so long, like Christy Ng, Empire Sushi. I saw that they just opened a big ass restaurant now. Previously, there was just kiosks for sushi, and turns out their businesses has been since 2011. So I think trusting the process is such an important skill to have, and it's such an underrated skill as well. And I'm still learning to do it. I'm trying to trust the process now as well, because I think it's also hard for me to keep on putting in the work and not seeing anything. But for now, I'm just doing it because I want to have fun. That's it. I'm not expecting anything, but I still want to keep doing it and try to believe and have a bit of delusiveness that something big is going to come out of it. And I don't know what it is yet. And maybe that's the real test, right? Like staying long enough for the work to compound. Of course, starting is hard as well. Like initially when I started, it's hard. But maybe the hardest test is whether you can remain and stay long enough for the work to compound. And maybe that's the real test, right? Not whether you can start, but whether you can actually trust the process.